So we've decided to catch up with some of these Dubrovnik digital nomads in residence to find out what it actually means to be in residence. What are they getting up to? Are they just going on tours all day and sitting around drinking beer? And we're starting with Ron. Ron, first of all, introduce yourself to everybody. Who are you, what are you doing, and why are you here?
My name is Ron Tardiff. I'm a marine ecologist. I'm from the US. I'm spending most of my time in Budapest these days. I'm here as a digital nomad in residence, checking out coastal Croatia is a particular interest to me as someone who studies the marine environment, having a great time visiting islands and working really collaboratively with the other digital nomads.
Okay, what was your perception of Dubrovnik before, and how has that changed, having been here now for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's changed quite dramatically, actually. I think I would have honestly never chosen Dubrovnik, or thought of Dubrovnik, let's say, as a digital nomad location, primarily because of cost, and secondarily, or maybe primarily because of the over-tourism that it's quite famous for, and then secondarily because of the cost. So beforehand, I was always interested to visit as, kind of a check out Dubrovnik, it's the old city, Game of Thrones, that kind of thing, and that was all I knew. But actually, after already, it's been just over, I think we're on day 9, I'm actually really loving the region. And I think that that's something that I had no idea about. Canavle was great. Korčula is amazing. I think we're going to go back there actually next week or the week after. I can't wait to explore that more. Stan was really beautiful. And so all of the external areas that we have checked out have been amazing. Dubrovnik itself is also great, but I've already learned that there's a lot more to this region than this old city behind us, which is beautiful. But digital nomads, one of the things we look for in a location is it's a kind of staging area for further exploration. So the idea that there's so much so close is really attractive.
So the perception for a lot of tourists is that Dubrovnik is just the old town, and then after that, and it's expensive and there's nothing to do. And your experience has been actually outside the city walls. Things are really, really quite interesting. Tell us, whereabouts are you living?
Yeah, so actually we're staying just at the end of Lapat before Babencook, I believe it's called. So it's almost towards the end of the peninsula. It's actually very nice. There's a beach and nice walkway there called Sunset Beach. There's stores and everything. The harbor's nearby. It's within walking distance of the old town, but the bus is probably easier. And there's 2 large parks actually right there on that peninsula. So there's a lot of greenery. It's a pretty residential area as well. So it has a calm, relaxing feel to it. And apparently you can also take a boat to the Elephantine Islands, which we're planning to organize as well. So that will be a lot of fun. And one of the locals, or a couple of the locals, have said that that's actually the best place to be located. I guess probably had I come here on my own, I would have had no idea. So yeah, you're exactly right. I actually haven't spent that much time in the old city. And the only reason I come through the old city every day is to go to the Lazredi, the co-working space we have, which is almost absurdly idyllic, right by the sea, the orchestra playing right next to us all day. So that's been great, but it's really the surrounding areas that I think have elevated my opinion of Dubrovnik. Yeah.
I mean, it's no secret that Croatia is not yet equipped in terms of local education to be a top digital nomad destination. It's something that we're looking to move towards. Do you see potential? I mean, obviously you've worked remotely in other places. What is the potential you see, and how do you think we're going to make that change?
In a region like Dubrovnik, I would assume, and from what I'm hearing, I believe that the biggest roadblock is around the housing, the accommodation. So there's 2 fundamental pieces of that. One, obviously, being the cost. So, and there's actually kind of 2 sub-elements to that, which is many times people will only contract for a part of the year, and then they want to kind of kick you out or triple the rent, which digital nomads, as much as they make their travels unpredictable, tend to keep their finances quite predictable. So tripling your cost just for the busy season isn't ideal. And then there just aren't a lot of flats who are interested in renting in that situation. And then the second is that the flats tend to be designed and equipped for people who are here for short stays. I spoke to somebody who runs accommodations here, and they said that their average stay, it's in the city center, is 2.5 nights. So for 2.5 nights, you don't need any infrastructure really, because you can be pretty certain you're going to eat every meal out.
Yep.
But if you're here for even 1 month, you're not. So that's I would say is a huge challenge. The kitchenettes can be the flats are beautiful and amazing, but the kitchenettes rather are pretty under design. Well, yeah, lacking some amenities.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would like to say the top 4 or 5 things that you're looking for in a destination when you're going to be a digital nomad? You're going to come here, obviously accommodation's one of them, but just give us an overview of what you're looking for, so then we know what we need to provide.
It's a great question. I think, usually the environment kind of is the attraction, right? How many things can I do interesting things can I do in the 2, 3, 4 months that I'm in a location, and how diverse are those things? So I don't necessarily want to only be doing outdoor activities. Or only city tour activities. How affordable are they? Because while we're not going to spend all of our money in 1 week like a tourist might, we also still there has to be some kind of economic balance there. How lively is the place for me is really important. Is it relatively easy to meet either other expats, other digital nomads, or locals? For me, I personally like a blend of both, to be able to meet both. Others like just kind of a digital nomad community, and others kind of rebel against that entirely. So that's quite variable. The third thing rather are the practicalities. So for me, the biggest one is, can I move around without a car? I don't like driving. I come from the US where all you do is drive. So I like when I can get around either by foot or by bus or by train. And yeah, how well is that to navigate? And then, but other things go into the logistics as well, like internet. But I feel like nowadays pretty much everywhere in Europe has sufficient internet, so that's not something I often have to think that much about. And then because of the EU roaming, again, I don't really think about phones. Some people do if they come from the US maybe, but that's a consideration as well. And then for me, actually more recently is co-working spaces. I originally started working 2 years ago remotely. I had worked remotely a bit before, but full-time remotely 2 years ago, and very quickly I was like, I would love to have a co-working space. And I was living on Crete at the time, which doesn't have any co-working spaces at all. So it can be a bit of a drag to sit in your house all day by yourself. So yeah.
Have you had much contact with the community?
Yes and no. So the community members have come to us and approached us, and they've been really, really lovely. And a couple of people when we've been out, because last week we were still the only tourists, so it seems a couple are trickling in this week. People were just talking to us, oh, you must be the digital nomads. So they've been really curious and interesting, and everybody that I've come into contact with has been really open to have a conversation about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and also people are very open to share their thoughts about how tourism is going and developing here in Dubrovnik, which has been nice. So everybody has been really welcoming and very friendly.
Excellent. And final question, what's your favourite moment of the trip so far?
Favorite moment? I think the restaurant we went to on Korčula, I actually can't remember the name of it.
The dinner?
In the middle, the lunch.
That's it to meet. The lunch where we had the pekka with
the pekka and everything.
At Konobamaha,
Yeah, I can't say that, but
Yeah.
no, that was excellent, and I loved the vibe that they had, and the brothers and the whole story and everything was really well done. And its location. I loved Korčula generally. I really wanted to go back there.
Right.
For me, it reminded me, I spent a lot of time on Crete. It reminded me a bit of that because it's quite large. There's lots of a variety of things to do, and the people were absolutely marvelous. So I really enjoyed that island a lot.
All right, well, thanks so much, and I guess cheers.
Cheers.